New house, new setup. Who's this? It's your same Jedi Master Ren, and I am back for another episode of Jedi Mind Trick. And today, guys, I want to discuss the redemption arc of CDPR with Cyberpunk 2077. So I'm here to convince you that this is the time. Right now, 2023, October 8th, is the time for you to jump into Cyberpunk 2077 if you haven't already. Now, this game, I've had a long history with this title, and with, dealing with CDPR in regards to Cyberpunk. Now, I did not know about Cyberpunk for the long years that it was in development, right? I found out about it probably around 2017, 2018, somewhere around there, I think, is when I caught wind that this game was coming out, and then realized how far back it had been announced. So that was where I was at. So I wasn't waiting on it for, 10, 15 years, or not 15, but I wasn't waiting on it for as long as other people had who were, in the know and knew about it, for that amount of time. But when I found out about it, when I started seeing all of these different clips, oh boy, I was immediately hooked. The first, that first little tidbit trailer that they did, it was the CGI trailer that they did with the lady who had the cyberware coming out, I believe the mantis blades that were coming out. I know what her name is. I just found out that she is in the game, so that's pretty cool that you can go and actually meet that person. But I did realize that is, it's just a CG trailer, but it did get me hooked. It got me hooked, just the concept of the world that we could be exploring. So I was very intrigued and very interested in this title. And obviously, we got the E3 demo. I don't remember what year it was, but we got that E3 demo, 45 minutes long, and I was blown away, as pretty much everybody was. And unfortunately, that's not the game that we got. And that is a fact of the matter. And you know what? I'm not here to dwell on the past and on that aspect of it. But I always, whenever I feel like, I want to talk about Cyberpunk, it's always good to bring that up just so we understand that that is something that happened. And they did, CDPR, at the launch of this game in 2020, they screwed over a lot of people. They screwed over the consumers. They screwed over their partners, their publishing partners with Sony, with Microsoft. They screwed over a lot of people with the launch of this title. And that's why we see things like Sony taking it off of their PlayStation Store, the PSN. They were getting so much backlash that they felt like it was necessary, and they took it off until they were able to push out the PS5 version of the game, I believe in 2021. I believe it was 2021. So with that being said, let's fast forward to now, right? 2023. We finally just got the 2.0 update. Obviously, Phantom Liberty is out, as well as the expansion for the game, or the story expansion for the game. I have not delved deep into Phantom Liberty as of yet, but I did start a brand new fresh save, just so I can get the story in from the start and then get all the way through. Now, currently, I believe I've just gotten to Pan Am. So if you guys know who Pan Am is, I've gotten to her. We've done the first mission with her, and now we are moving on to the next bit of the story plot that she is involved with. But I really am enjoying my time here with the game. And that's the reality of it, is that I've always enjoyed my time with the game. Back in 2020, when the game was, running as terrible as it was, I still knew and I could feel the game, the good game that was underneath it. Granted, it's not the game that they promised, but it still is a good game that I was intrigued with, and personally. So when we get to the bottom of this, and we are, getting through and we're playing through the game, I think I got probably about 40 hours in, and then I'm just like, at this point, I can't deal with the bugs anymore. It's getting ridiculous. Every single day, we're having crashes. I am happy to report I have not had one single crash since the last week and a half that I've been playing this game, and I've been playing it pretty heavily, I would say. Like every day, that's the game that I'm going to, and it's even taken me off of other games. I was trying to get through Callisto Protocol before October 20th because we got Spider-Man 2, baby. October we gonna be eating good. I have Assassin's Creed Mirage. I haven't even bought that game yet because I don't even have the time to play that game. I know October 20th, once that rolls around, it's Spidey season, baby. I ain't got time for nothing else. And honestly, Cyberpunk's going down too. But either way, my point is, I was trying to beat Callisto before Cyberpunk. Didn't really happen. Didn't really work out like that because Cyberpunk took me away from it, man. It's that good. And again, it's always been good. It's just now there's not all of the BS that you have to get through to find the good. The good's just there now. And I'm assuming that Phantom Liberty will add that extra step and that extra little bit of just like, fantastic. And that's another reason that I decided to start the game over from the beginning, because I did hear a lot of discourse online that, hey, jumping into Phantom Liberty, and if you're jumping into this, even if you have a save, you might want to start it from the beginning, because there's a lot of systems at play that are completely different than what we have dealt with from the base game. So we're talking everything before 2.0. So because of that, it might be a better situation for you if you just start fresh. So I decided to do that. So my first character I made as myself, right? Just try to put my own spin on the V character. But this time, I decided to do something a little different. I'm like, I don't want to do the same character, right? I don't want to be the cookie cutter character. I want to be something different. So I was like, I think I want to do female V. I think I want to go there first. All right, so let's do that. And then I'm like, okay, how do I make this character? You know, how do I do this? And then I decided, you know what? We're just gonna make my wife. We're just gonna make my wife in the game. I made me as my first playthrough. Make my wife as the second one. And we'll call it a day. So again, it doesn't look just like her, just like my character didn't look just like me, but the job is still there. We're getting it done. And again, I can't see her anyway, so it doesn't even matter. But anyway, I have heavily been enjoying my time with the game, with the title. Like I said, no bugs. Let's back that up. There are slight bugs. I would say at most I've seen about 5. Probably about 5. Maybe we're getting upwards of like 7 to 8, but we have not crossed into double digits, at least not what I've seen. Now, so there could have been a bug, you know, like off to the side. My camera wasn't looking over there, so I didn't see that one. But my point is, the bugs are very, very minute right now. Like, at least where I'm at in the game. Again, very early in the game, I would say. I've definitely passed, like, the initial brunt of it. You know, like, we're in the game. It's an open world now. I can go anywhere I need to. I don't have anything locked off. So, we're at least that far into it. But I still would consider myself, you know, pretty early on. I know I'm definitely still in Act 1, because I haven't gotten to Act 2 yet. So, that is still there. But at least right now, the game feels good. It feels solid. No crashing. That's one big thing for me, is no crashing. Even when I went back to the game, so they came out with the PS5 version in 2021. I went back in there, had to test out what the PS5 version really felt like. And it felt pretty much the same, a little bit better, just a little bit, but it pretty much was what we got, you know, the year prior. I was like, all right, not really feeling it now. We'll put it down and wait for a little bit longer. Hopped into it in 2022. This is the one that was a little bit more promising. I did put a few more hours into it. I believe I put maybe about another 10, 15 hours into it when I picked it back up in 2022. And again, this is my original save that I started in 2020. So when I picked that up, I wasn't seeing a lot of graphical hitches. I wasn't seeing a lot of bugs or anything like that. But I was still getting the occasional crash. And that was still irritating. A game should not be crashing as frequently as this game. At least that's what I felt like, especially 2 years after launch. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna put it down again, and then we'll see. And I think, honestly, Edge Runners is what actually got me back into it in 2022, because watched Edge Runners and I was like, I need to get back in this world. I need to get back to Night City, baby. So I had to jump back in, and again, it kept me hooked. But one thing I will say back in 2022 is that as soon as I loaded in, and I was very promising, you know, it was a very promising thing. They had just pushed an update out that had some items from the Edge Runners game, or the Edge Runners series, that were integrated into the game, and I was very excited for it. But then, as soon as I load in, I shit you not, I load in, I go up some stairs, T-pose from an NPC. And it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, how are we still having NPCs T-posing? You know what I mean? Like, 2 years later. So, now we get to 2023. And 2023, again, I did start playing it right before Phantom Liberty, because my goal was to finish the game before Phantom Liberty came out. Now, other games took me away from that goal. You know what I'm saying? I believe it was Starfield. Actually, you know what? Was it Starfield? I think it was Starfield that took me away from it. I was playing it right before Starfield came out. That's when I re-downloaded it, and then I was like, man, as soon as Starfield dropped, that took my time away. And I have a lot of ships that I've built in that game for a long time, for probably about a good like week and a half, 2 weeks. That game was just shipbuilder simulator for me. That's really what it was, and I'm very happy with it. But anyway, my point is, I get taken away from these different games throughout the year, and it does suck. But we're back now to Cyberpunk, and now that we've got the 2.0 update, that is where it's at. Like, they have ironed out a lot of issues. They went back and retooled the cop system. The cop system now works more like a GTA cop system, or like a Saints Row. Any game that has, really, I would say, yeah, any game that has a cop system in it pretty much functions the same way. Cyberpunk just had them plop you in right there. Now it's functioning like it should, or like you would think it would in a game of this nature. And again, I'm not seeing any graphical hitches. I'm not seeing any bugs in the game right now. It's running flawlessly. And I've got to say, I'm feeling a lot more engaged with my V, with the female V character, than I was with the male V. And I don't know why. I feel like that's a combination of multiple things. Maybe the years it's taken me, because I will say this, I have never finished the game. I have never finished it. I put it down. I put about 40 hours in. I was not at the end of the game. I put the game down at launch because I didn't want to play it like that anymore. And as we've gone through these years, I've been just trying to chip away at it slowly but surely. I am now, this year, got to the last mission on my original save, but I didn't want to do it because I kept getting side missions. There's still some like loose ends that I need to kind of, get situated. And then I heard about, maybe you should just start over if you're going to do the Phantom Liberty stuff. So that's what I did. So now we're just going to go off of this one. And as I'm playing more through it as the female V, I don't know why. I feel like it's just, maybe it's just the, you have your female protagonist, but then also the side characters and some of them being female. And when you guys go into these different gang strongholds, I don't know why. It just feels like it's more narratively correct. It feels like, and it just, I really like it. It just really feels like you just a badass bunch of bitches. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really, it really, I don't know why. I don't know why. But I resonate with it more. And I feel like, okay, what I'm thinking of specifically is there's a mission where Judy and you go and you're trying to find Evelyn, and she is taken by, I would assume, these, like, gang people. They're gang people. This gang group, I don't know what the gang was, but they're taking people and they're taking their cyberware out of them, just ripping it out of them basically. And in that, like, you're just going through and just bam, 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 market these guys, and I'm just like, it's bad bitches right there. Hell yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. But again, with this being said, now we're going to get deeper into it. I'm going to actually, enjoy my experience from start to finish with this game. And if you haven't played this game, I think this is it. I think this is the time to play it. My last thing I will say, and my main point in why I decided to put it down originally, is because some of the cyberware just wouldn't work. And my main thing, the only thing I wanted to do in this game, was to have the Mantis Blades. And those things were bugged. They were trash, and I still used them, even though they were trash and buggy and horrible. I still used them. They have completely fixed those. They work flawlessly now, and it's fantastic. I love it. And I'm telling you guys, if this is a game that you've been looking at and you've been wanting to try, and you've seen the discourse around it, and you're like, I don't know if that's for me. It's a little much. I don't know if I should jump into it right now. Now is the time. Go ahead and get your copy. If you already have a copy, you've just been biding your time and waiting. I know there have been some people I've seen online over the years that they bought a copy and it just sits on a shelf until the game is ready for them to play. And there's all kinds of games that we could be playing before, other than Cyberpunk. And yet I keep going back to it because it is that good of a game. If I can play that game 40 hours at launch, when it was the worst that it could be at launch, and still find some enjoyment out of it 40 hours worth, that means that there was always a good game there. It just took It just took CDPR to hunker down and get to work. Now, my wife and I have this discourse every few months, not every few months, but like I'd say every 6 to 8 months. I'll talk about Cyberpunk again, and I always tell her, I'm like, look. She says, well, they had enough time to finish this game. It should have been done when it dropped. And in my head, you're not wrong, because that's 10 years. That is a long time. But making video games nowadays takes about that long. So yeah, it's okay. They didn't have it done in 10 years, but they needed 13 years. We're in 2023 now, almost 3 years after launch. They obviously needed these extra 3 years to get the game to an acceptable place. So there is no denying the game was not ready, and they should not have launched it when they did. But I give credit where it's due. In CDPR, they put their heads down, they got to work, and they kept pushing out updates to make this game something that they could be proud of. And I think after this update, I think they are. I think they are proud of it. I'm not saying that they weren't proud of it before, but I think now they can hold their heads up high as they're proud of the work that they've put in here. Because I can sit here and say, I love that game. I love this game right now. And it has a hold on me. We will see if it still has a hold on me when Spider-Man comes out, but I don't think it will. Anyway, guys, I've been your host, Jedi Master Ren, and I will see you next time in the halls of the Jedi Gaming Academy. May the Force be with you.